So now when you look at these cases, everyone's focused on the state case in Georgia. And man, is this seem to be blowing up. The DA, Fani Willis, having an affair, it seems, not really denied, with a person, a special prosecutor who has no business in this case, no background going after it. One of the co-defendants went ahead and challenged this case because of it. And then your dad now joined that challenge. Where do you think this is heading? What do you think this says about the quality of the case?
Well, listen, I think it shines a spotlight into all these people and the massive corruption. When you see Fani Willis and everything that she's done, when you see Letitia James, who's gone to the White House countless times and spoken to Biden, clearly spoken to Biden about the case in New York, it's the weaponization of the system. And, you know, it's also, Brian, the law of unintended consequences. Every single time they do this, my father gets stronger in the polls. Between Iowa and New Hampshire, my father's won 107 out of 109 counties. He had the largest turnout in Iowa history. He won by over 30 points, right? The next biggest record was 12 points. Then you look at New Hampshire the other night. It was a blowout victory, considering 70% of the people who voted for Nikki Haley were not Republicans, and he still beat her by 12%. And you see the numbers, obviously, in Nevada. You see the numbers in South Carolina. My father's up 30 points in South Carolina, in Nikki Haley's home state.
Right.
He's going to be the presumptive nominee. There's no question about it. And I'm proud of my father. He's taken so many arrows in the back. That what he's had to deal with, the weaponization of government for the last 7 years, is unthinkable. And the man has done an incredible job for the United States of America. And as a son, I couldn't be more proud.
And I know New York Attorney General Letitia James, relentless in her fight to take down former President Trump and his family. This week, she wrote a letter to the New York Supreme Court. Justice Earhardt, who's an embarrassment, demanding the former president be permanently banned from New York real estate. No joke. And she wants sons Eric and Don Jr. banned for 5 years. James even went so far as to compare them to the big pharma bro, Martin Shkreli. Remember this guy?
Prosecutors claim Shkreli lied about the fund's performance and stole $11 million from a separate drug company he owned, Retrophin.
Shkreli first came to prominence back in 2015 when his company jacked up the price of a life-saving drug by 5,000%.
You believe this? Let me remind you, the case against Trump has no victims. It's a personal attack against the former president of the United States and his family. Not like the farmer bro who stole millions of dollars and went to jail. Joining us now is the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump. Eric, your reaction to having your family, you two, compared to him?
Well, Brian, it's very simple. I mean, Letitia James came down, when my father came down the escalator, Letitia James started campaigning against him. We're going to go after Donald Trump. We're going to take down his family. We're going to look into every corner of his life. We're going to go after him. We're going to go after everybody he knows. She campaigned on that promise. She fundraised on that promise. And it's disgusting, Brian. We have a great company. We have never had a default. We've never breached a covenant. Our banks have made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars off of our company. And it's a horrible thing. It's truly a horrible thing what she's trying to do.
When you were actually sitting in the courtroom and hearing your family talked about this and crunching the numbers and people saying these things, it's a lot different from the case. But when you actually see this case unfold, what are the thoughts in your head?
My thoughts in my head are is persecution. I mean, we started with the Russia hoax, and then they tried to impeach him for the first time. Then they tried to impeach him for the second time. Then they went after his Supreme Court justices. When that didn't work, they went to every far left area in the country, Brian. You see what's happening in Georgia and how corrupt that is. And, they go to New York City and they get a corrupt attorney general. They go after him in Washington, D.C., where he received, 6% of the total vote? They go to every far left jurisdiction. They go after him. And you know what, Brian? When that doesn't work and when those cases are falling apart, then they go to Colorado and they pull him off the ballot. And then they go to Maine and they try and pull him off the ballot. The American people aren't falling for it anymore. I mean, how many times can you cry wolf before people see right through you? And that's exactly what's happening here. They're weaponizing the system against Donald Trump, who's their political opponent. They're petrified because he's created the greatest movement, maybe in political history. They're petrified of the man.
And right now he's up 6, and as I mentioned, the last Reuters poll, and the real clear average is up 4. They never expected this to happen, I don't think, by any stretch.